ya haki na uaminifu, ili utukufu na sifa zako ziendelezwe na ili kustawisha amani.
Order number 2, communication from the chair. Order number 3, messages. Order number 4, petitions. Order number 5, papers.
Leader of Majority.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Wednesday, November 14th, 2018, in the afternoon sitting. 1, the report of the Auditor General on financial statements in respect of the following institutions for the year that ended 30th June 2017 and the certificate therein. Muranga University of Technology, Export Processing Zones Authority, Kenya Bureau of Standards, Kenya Industrial Estate Limited, and Zoya Sugar Company Limited. Number 2, the report of the Auditor General on financial statements in respect of the following constituencies for the year that ended 30th June 2017 and the certificate therein. Karachuonyo constituency, Bamachoge Borabu constituency, Matungu constituency, and lastly, Kilgoris constituency. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Health. Chairperson, Health, or the Vice Chair. Very well. I'll take it that they are not interested in tabling their reports. I thought this report was ready. The Honorable Nikal, you mentioned to me that this report is ready, and I approved it yesterday. Well, the leadership is such that they don't know when the House sits. You may need to impress upon the leadership of your committee, Honorable Nikal, that the House sits at 2:30 p.m. so that they don't come at 4:30. Well, the report then is deferred, tabling thereof to tomorrow. Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning. Honorable Limo.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the House today, Wednesday, November 14, 2018. Report of the Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning on its consideration of the Capital Markets Amendment Bill 2018. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Was there a report by the Committee on Administration that I approved yesterday? Or it was tabled in the morning? Very well. Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion. Order number 7, questions and statements.
They say even if you go to equity, equity does not help the indolent. And if you sit on your rights, you cannot then claim that you want to go to Equity. You've been sitting on them. We go to questions. Yes, be firm. Once you make a decision, it's over. Question was dropped, and that matter is dead. Member for Leader Minority, what is the issue? Honorable John Bandi.
Mr. Speaker, I totally agree with you, but Mr. Speaker, I'm just trying to draw from tradition when we used to have question time and seeking your indulgence, understanding order number 1, that we used to go through the questions, then you can come back one more time, just to allow members who probably for some reason or another were delayed to again ask the questions. I'm seeking your indulgence, bearing in mind there is no compulsion that you have to do it, but I'm just drawing from tradition and what I used to see then. It is a while since we have that. Mr. Speaker.
Fortunately, then those to respond who are in the house. Now they are not in the house. We don't want to hold the house because of people who decide to do other things instead of coming to the house. So if a member is not present when the question is called out once, twice, then the question is dropped. The matter is over. Then the member can now go and maybe what he was doing was more important than the question. So you make a choice. The next question is by the member for Kirinyaga Central. Honorable John Munene Wambugu. Yes?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is directed to the Cabinet Secretary for Agriculture and Livestock, and it is as follows. What is the status of implementation of the Food Crops Regulation 2015, specifically Regulation number 26, subsection 3 on the marketing and requirement on the unit directory? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Very well. Refer to the Departmental Committee on Agriculture to prioritize. Next question by the member for Kikuyu constituency, Honorable Kimani Ichung'wa.
What policy steps is the ministry taking to enable children and youth to receive systematic instructions and understanding of their cultural identity, values, beliefs, and practices, while ensuring that retrogressive norms and aspects do not infringe on their human dignity and ability to be productive members of the society? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I think that's a very interesting question. I would want to know what steps the ministry is taking, particularly on the issues of good governance, courtship, and marriage. I think it's an interesting question. I would be keen to receive the answer.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Professor Aduol, I think we must thank you for reminding us that this is an important aspect of the constitution, of our constitution.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes. The Honorable T.J. Kajwang is particularly happy about the courtship. Yes, the measures taken to identify good methods and marriage and the courtship. But more particularly indigenous systems, yes, it's very important. Yeah, it's part of the constitutional requirements under the Bill of Rights.
From you, Mr. Speaker, with your permission, if there is any logic for a member who sits in a committee that oversees a cabinet secretary that they oversee as a committee. I don't know whether I'm making sense, Mr. Speaker, but what I wanted to say, suppose, for example, I am in the Committee of Environment, or rather Agriculture, and then I'm asking a question as a member of this House, but yet I have the opportunity to meet the Cabinet Secretary in charge of Agriculture on many other forums, Mr. Speaker. Is there any logic, Mr. Speaker, that members of a particular committee that oversights a cabinet secretary, they could come here and ask the same cabinet secretary a question that they would have actually solved in the number of numerous sittings they have, Mr. Speaker?
There's a lot of logic. Because you may be in the committee of, like you give the example of agriculture or transports. But you don't oversight the cabinet secretary about the roads in your village. The oversight is not about just things in the village. When the cabinet secretary comes before your committee, he or she does not come there to discuss the roads in your constituency only. Or even the cabinet secretary will appear before the committee for any other, maybe to discuss bills or petitions. And we cannot deny the member of a committee the right to ask a question to a cabinet secretary merely because the member might, how about if the member, the CS does not see that member when he appears before the committee? The only way the member has, the only recourse the member has is to ask a question so that that CS who may have been avoiding this member now will have no option but to appear now and face the member head-on before the committee. I think it is proper for, even if it's agriculture. Honorable John Bandi, you have also a point of order?
No, actually, Mr. Speaker, it was just on the same.
Oh,
Because you see, when CS cabinet secretaries appear, they come for specific issues. The letter that invites them is on specific issue. You cannot digress and start discussing my village issues with a cabinet secretary who has come on other issues. So it is important that a member, any member, can ask a question anytime to the cabinet secretary so that it is addressed specifically. And even to have records, a document to demonstrate that there was a commitment, not where we walk out in the corridor and he promises me 100 kilometers of tarmac. There is no way I can follow up that matter.
That's true, absolutely. Next order.
Order number 8, procedural motion, resolution to hold sittings on specified Thursdays mornings.
Leader of Majority.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 30, subsection 3B, this House resolves to hold morning sittings on the following days, commencing at 9:30 a.m. for the purpose of considering priority business. Roman 1, Thursday, November 15, 2018. Roman 2, Thursday, November 22nd, 2018. And Roman 3, Thursday, November 29, 2018. Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the House Business Committee, we have looked at the calendar of the House for this session, and the last day that the House will transact business as per our calendar approved by this House is on the 6th of December 2018. Meaning that we only have in fact 2 weeks, if we exclude this week, 2 weeks from now. And looking at the status of business pending in terms of bills, in terms of reports, in terms of petitions, we, the House Business Committee under your leadership, felt that we can have morning sittings beginning tomorrow so that we dispense with all the reports of committees and bills that are pending. In the essence that if we don't do that, this business will lapse. The bills will lapse, the committee reports will lapse as per our standing orders. So we felt that by the time we are leaving on the 6th of December, we have cleared everything on our table, whether it is bills, whether it is petitions, whether it is reports of important committees, and motions, and even questions to ministers. And that is why even this morning, Mr. Speaker, the Public Accounts Committee has tabled, I think, the audited accounts for 2014-2015. And we also have the 21st report of the Public Investment Committee. We have very critical bills like the NYS bill, which is on the order paper this afternoon to be read the first time. So we felt that these special sittings, these Thursday morning sittings, if the House agrees with us, they will be used to deal with matters before committees in terms of bills and committee reports and treaties and protocols which are before the Health Committee, the Defense Committee, the Finance Committee, and others. So that was the essence and the genesis, and I'll ask the leader of minority, who is a member of the House Business Committee, to say.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker,
It's good to listen, make a decision from information and knowledge.
yeah, Mr. Speaker, I was saying that we realize as the House Business Committee that we have quite a number of bills, reports, and other matters that were very urgent, that are very important that we wanted to transact before we go on recess from 6th of December. And this is going to be a long recess, a 2-month recess. If you look at order number 9, there is the National Youth Service Bill. Actually, this bill, which is being introduced for the first reading, is very critical in terms of reforming the National Youth Service to help alleviate the problem of unemployment in this country. There is the Parliamentary Service Commission Bill, which again has been with us for as long as 2010, actually, literally. We have also a constitutional amendment on the 2/3 gender principle, which I think is also very critical and which is likely to go to the second reading next week. We have the Public Accounts Committee report, as the Leader of Majority has mentioned, and we all know that we have been complaining about Public Accounts Committee delaying with the report and also going to the extent of delaying the formula for division of revenue allocation. But now the report is with us, and we want to dispose of it before we go on recess, together with the Public Investment Committee, again touching on parastatals and many other issues. So, Mr. Speaker, I think it would not be asking for too much from this House to allocate these 3 mornings, Thursday mornings, starting from next week, the 3 subsequent Thursdays, so that we can transact more business. From tomorrow, actually, then Thursday next week and the week after. So, Mr. Speaker, really this is a procedural motion. I don't want to say much more beyond that. I just want to plead with the House to agree with the House Business Committee in their request to create more sittings for us. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I second.
Honourable members, member for Bura. Honourable members, I propose the question, which is that pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order number 30, subsection Thursday, November 29th, 2018. It's the desire of the House that I put the question. Yes. Well, of course, I don't want to remind you about the famous quote by Speaker Lentho in 1642. I'm sure you know it now. I put the question that pursuant to the provision of Standing Order number 30, subsection 3, paragraph B, this House resolves to hold morning sittings on the following days commencing at 9:30 a.m. for purposes of considering priority business. 1, Thursday, November 15th, 2018, 2, Thursday, November 22nd, 2018, and 3, Thursday, November 29th, 2018. Will as many as that opinion say aye? Aye. As many as the contrary opinion say no? The ayes have it. Honourable members, it means therefore, starting tomorrow, for the next 3 Thursdays following, there will be morning sittings. This is not to say that committees will not sit. Those committees which are scheduled business, for avoidance of doubt, This does not mean that those committees that are scheduled business on those 3 days will not sit. The chamber starts at 9:30 a.m. I'm sure by practice, most committees start their sittings starting the hour of 10 a.m., sometimes 11 a.m., and sometimes 10:30. So you can see there's still room for members to participate here in the plenary before they go to the committees. So for everybody, this is for everybody's information, even those that are not present, to know that starting tomorrow there will be morning sittings up to and including 29th of this month. Very well. Next order.
Order number 9, the National Youth Service Bill, National Assembly Bill number 26 of 2018, first reading. A bill for an act of parliament to establish the National Youth Service to provide for its functions, discipline, organization, and administration, and for connected purposes.
Next order.
Order number 10, Committee of the Whole House.
I like working with a pen. Thank you, dear. Order members, honorable members, we are in the Committee of the Whole House to consider the statute law miscellaneous amendment bill, National Assembly Bill number 12 of 2018. Honorable Leader of Majority, before we commence.
Madam Speaker, I think you need to make it very clear that people should go get the order paper. They must have the bill. Because, you know, there's a culture of always asking you which page. All of us here are members of parliament, get the order paper, follow from the beginning. So that we move smoothly.
Yes, and honorable members, having listened to the Leader of Majority, I want to stress on the number of the bill for you to be able to get the right bill. The statute law miscellaneous amendment bill, National Assembly Bill number 12 for the members of 2018.
Provisions relating to the Judicial Act, Cap 8.
Members, I propose a question which is that the provision relating to the Judicial Acts, Cap 8, be amended as proposed in the bill.
Section 2.
The mover to move your amendment on Section 2. Honorable William Cheptumo. Section 2.
Madam Chair, I propose that I move that the following amendments as per the order paper, that is the Judicial Act, Cap 8, as per the order paper, Madam Speaker, Madam Chair.
Cheptumo, you are moving section 2 only.
Madam Chair, the can seek to remove the offending aspects of the proposal in the bill.
Very well. Having moved the amendment, members, I propose the question, which is that section 2 be amended as proposed by the mover, the Honorable William Cheptumo. And no one wants to contribute to this. Neither leader. I move to put the question of members, which is that section 2 be amended as proposed by the mover, the Honorable William Cheptumo. Will as many as are of the opinion say aye? As many as the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Section 3, paragraph 1 and 2.
I propose a question, which is at section 3, paragraph 1 and 2, be amended as proposed. Mover?
Madam
Before
Chair, I propose that the bill be amended in section 3 as per the order paper. And Madam Chair, the rationale for this amendment is that the committee recommends a further amendment to section 3.1 to include the Supreme Court. And Madam Chair, the reasoning is that the amendment will align section 3.1 of the Act with the Constitution by making reference to all courts in Kenya established by Constitution, including the Supreme Court. Madam Chair, that is the basis of the rationale of the amendment.
Very well. I propose a question, which is a section 3.1 and 2 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Cheptumo. Yes, Honorable Makali. Honorable Makali Mulu. Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Madam Chairperson. Madam Chairperson, I want to support this amendment because what the amendment is doing, Madam Chair, is to make sure that the new structure in terms of the High Courts is actually mainstreamed through the Act. So I support, Madam Chair.
You support?
Why can't you collapse some of those branches and have representation? Instead of having this thinking always that because we had 8 provinces, we must have 8 representation.
Very well.
And it is causing a lot of messes. Even when we want to appoint members of the IBC, we have to have 8 plus 1. We have to have commissions 8 plus 1. Then we just ethnicize some of these committees instead of.
Are you opposing or supporting Honorable Leader of Minority? Just going to record. Let me give the Honorable Omulele. Honorable Omulele.
Yes, Madam Chair, the rationale behind increasing this number to 8 is because the Advocates Act in itself was amended in 2014 to give foundation to these 8 branches. So these 8 branches need to be represented in this, and that is why we are having this 8, to just align it with the Law Society Act 2014.
You support?
I support.
The last one, Honorable Kajwang, you seem to have a...
First of all, let me tell my leader of minority that there are a few things that he should leave to the experts and consumers so that we understand. Madam Chair, I see this amendment, and I think it is a good amendment because then it allows the branches to participate by the people that they nominate in the society. The only thing that I want to ask the chair, because I'm not in that committee and we are seeing this for the first time, in the proposed bill, you saw that, and as been the law, that it is 3 advocates nominated by the society, one of whom is nominated by the members of Mombasa Law Society. Would it be prudent, for example, if in your amendment you would further amend it and say that each of these 8 people should be nominated by their own branches, so that you don't have Law Society sitting in Nairobi and nominating people for those respective branches? This is the problem, the special problem that Mombasa Law Society always had. And that is why in this bill, you saw that it was very specific that members of Mombasa Law Society would themselves nominate somebody. Would you consider a further amendment so that the branches themselves nominate members who then sits in the law society?
Okay, okay. You are supporting or you're not supporting, Honorable? He's supporting.
Of course I support.
Please go into
yes, I support,
members.
but with
Yes.
further amendment.
Yes, with further amendment you propose. Bukose, let me have your... Honorable Chair, you know, you're the one who, you brought this. Let's hear it from the members before I give it to you. Yes, Honorable Bukose.
Thank you, Chair. Actually, my thinking was, when you read it, where you have the Law Society of Kenya nominating for a branch, I would prefer that it is the branch that is nominating its members to represent them in each. Yes. So I'm actually in agreement with the Chief Justice, although I'm surprised that it's not the member of the legal committee. Why?
Now, before you take a vote on this, let me have the Cheptumo. You wanted to clarify something for members to be able to make a decision?
Madam Chair, can you defend me from this?
Order, honorable members. Order.
Chair,
we respect members.
Chair,
yes.
Why this is very important for us to say. The spirit actually of this amendment, as raised by Honorable Kachwang, is indeed to ensure that every region of LSK in the country, Madam Chair, is represented. Actually, in fact, in our report, Madam Chair, if members can have time to read, we said that all the branches may therefore nominate a representative in the Rules Committee. This is important because each region faces unique challenges and has practitioners and users of civil procedure rules, each voice from the regions ought to be represented in the committee.
Very well.
So basically, this is really the spirit of what my colleague has said.
Then before I put the question, Honorable Member for Wajir East, you seem to... Wajir East, is it? Kasim? No. Wajir East... Honorable Leader of Majority. Honorable Leader of Majority. Yes, Wajir North.
Madam Speaker, Madam Chair, I seem to differ with my colleagues. I believe in the fact that variety of ideas comes from a mixed group of people. The issue of concentration of lawyers will only be reading from one point of view. So in view of this, I oppose this amendment. Yeah?
Okay. Okay. You're not even on mic, honorable members. Now, without debating, having a rise, please allow me put the question. Honorable members, you want to contribute to this, or you want to? Is out of order? Yes. Yes.
Madam Speaker, I'm just begging your guidance. I would have wished that there would be a further amendment, a small
but now that
amendment.
it has not been brought.
Yes, I'm asking you, because we are interacting this for the first time. Is it possible that we could do a few things and then...
you can come and recommit.
And then we can...
you can do, the procedures. Honorable Kajwang, why I thought you'd convince the chair.
Problem is the
and
leader
that's
of
why I
majority
gave more members,
the
comparing with the other even...
From where he sits. But thank you so much. I hear you.
Thank you. Yeah, this section, you notice, I gave more members. I thought you'd convince the chair. And the process, other members, with that debate, I therefore put the question, which is that section 81 be amended as proposed by the mover, the Honorable William Cheptumo. Honorable members, will as many as are this opinion say aye? As many as contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. And members, I now put the question with that provisions relating to the Civil Procedure Act Cap 21 be as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of this opinion say aye? And as many as a contrary opinion say nay, members, the ayes have it. Next provision.
Provisions relating to the Law of Contract Act, Cap 23.
Members, I propose the question, which is that provisions relating to the Law of Contract Act.
Probation orders. That's exactly what it means.
But we are dealing with section 4. Section 4. Honorable Funyula, is it on this? Then the last honor Kiminimin. Thank you. With that, I put the question on the members, which is that section 4 be amended as proposed by Honorable William Cheptumo. Will as many as are these opinions say aye? As many as contrary opinions say nay? The ayes have it. Next section.
Section 5.
Members, I proposed, no, yes, before I propose, I can see there's an amendment. The mover. Again, Honorable Cheptumo, on section 5.
Madam Chair, I propose that the bill be amended in section 5 as by the order paper. And Madam Chair, the rationale is to remove reference to the word district, which is an obsolete terminology, of course, as districts no longer exist, and replaced with the word county. It really follows, Madam Chair. Now we have counties, not districts.
Can I propose the question? Then now I can give you the leader of minority. Or members, I propose the question, which is at close section 5, be amended as proposed by Honorable William Cheptumo. I can welcome a few. Yes, Honorable Member for Suba South, leader of minority.
Madam Chair, I would want the chair maybe to come out so clearly, because you see, before the creation of counties, we had districts which were not necessarily the current county geographical areas. We had districts, and if the word district was applicable then, if you now make it county, would it not inconvenience? Why are we now substituting district with county as if we transform districts to counties? So I am a bit at a loss why the word district has become untenable. Yeah. So no, I'm opposing, but unless I'm convinced otherwise.
Unless you are convinced otherwise. Leader of majority.
Really want to ask the chair to drop that amendment. Because, you know, when you remove district and you substitute with the county, districts exist in law. Our constituencies are sub-counties. In other words, district. Okay? So we really want to, no, I mean, yes, there can be more districts even in a county. So I really want the chair, please, we don't want to rub salt. Yeah, don't take us. Some of us, we have issues with the counties. So the word county will give us constipation. So let us remain with our district. So I really want to ask the chair to drop that amendment. Yeah. Leave it the way it is in the bill.
Mwaya, what do you have to say on this?
No, so county is district.
Oh, thank you, Chair. I think I would want to support the earlier speaker, the Honorable Nduwale, on what he has just said. Because the district is a smaller place. And if you substitute it with a county, it can really be misused because there are several districts within a county. And suppose we are allocating using this law, it can really disadvantage people. So we either amend it so that it is district going for sub-county or something like that. Thank you, Chair.
Let me hear from the other side, Honorable Kipkelionis.
Yeah, Honorable Chair, I concur with the majority leader, but I want to request that instead of reverting to district, which is already obsolete, we request the chair to do a further amendment to make it sub-county. Yes.
No, unless you unless Honorable, now Honorable Leader of Majority, yes, Honorable Kajwang.
Well, Madam Chair, Leader of Majority and Leader of Minority are right in a sense. But you see, you need to understand where the chair of the committee is coming from. We used to have districts in the law. Now what we have in the law is county. No, just a minute. Just don't, just a minute. We will come there. What we have in the law is county. If we want to go sub-county, which I agree to, because I also want things to be done in our constituency. the first thing which we must do is to define sub-county in section 1. So what we can do is to have the legal people quickly define sub-county in the law in section 1. And then the chair can be asked to be able to see if he can substitute county for sub-county. But if you say sub-county right now, without it being defined in law, nobody will know what you are referring to. What we have now in the Constitution and in the law is county.
The Honorable Mbulele.
Madam Chair, I want to agree with the speakers who have spoken before me. Because when you look at what is trying to be taken care of by this provision, it is basically in regard to an offender who is being restricted to a certain area so that he can be observed by the probation officer. So if you limit to a whole county, then that observation will not be possible. So I agree that it is probable that we should go for sub-county or a small area.
Honorable Agutu Abel Bomachoge. I will listen to two more, and it is for the House to take it. Pokose?
Madam Speaker, this law is meant for the probation officer to be able to observe this person if the person is...
The paper. And Madam Chair, that is 17F. And the rationale for this proposal, Madam Chair, is that volunteers should not be facilitated using public funds as they render services without any promise of remuneration. Such a practice would discourage the institution from engaging officers in full-time employment. Madam Chair, this is a proposal that we want to say that we ask the House to approve so that we don't reward, as I've said, volunteers to give services without any promise of remuneration. That is really the basis of that amendment in 17F.
Very well. I propose a question, which is section 17, be amended as proposed by Honorable Cheptumo. Honorable Kimini, member.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, Honorable Cheptumo, the chair, you know when you're amending, you need to go to the specifics, because it's just talking of 17F, and yet as per the order paper, there is nothing.
It's proposing a deletion. It's proposing a deletion of which one? 17F.
Honorable Chris, I can, yes. Leader of majority.
Chair, you know we need to move. 17, Honorable Chris is a very legend. But because Honorable Bandi did not understand what the chair was saying, basically, in 17, he's proposing an amendment that will give way for persons who may want to be volunteers as probation officers. It's as simple as that.
Thank you for enriching the chair's.
Yes.
Yep. Therefore, with that, maybe I give a member for Entebes to enrich your two most imports, and then I put the question. You wanted to comment on
Madam
that?
Chair, to me, the section 17 is in the order paper here, is saying delete the words principal probation officer and substitute therefore the word director. And when you come to F, by inserting the following new amendment immediately after the proposed amendment to section 17. So that's 18. Okay.
I think the doctor, I think, Madam Chair, the doctor must have come from a surgery ward. You know, he's a surgeon. And he's a gynecologist, so you can...
No, Honorable. Honorable TJ Kajwang, please clarify to the House.
But the amendments proposed here are very clear.
Is a representative of the people. This is not a hospital. This is the Parliament.
The amendments proposed here are very clear. What the chair is proposing to do, the amendment which was in the bill, you need to have the bill itself to be able to follow this. In the bill, there was something proposed called volunteer probation officers. You must have a bill to be able to follow up the bill and the order paper.
Very well.
So what was there was something called volunteer probation officers. It is this in 17F that he is proposing to delete so that we would not have that. He is saying that the process of paying these people would be cumbersome. That is what he's saying.
Thank you. At least now Honorable Kajwang is alert and attentive. And I therefore move to put a question. Honorable Kajwang, resume your seat. And therefore move to put a question, which is that section 17 be amended as proposed by Honorable William Cheptumo. Will as many as are these opinions say aye? And as many as contrary opinion say nay? Members say aye as have it. Next section. Honourable members, as you can see in your order paper, the chair has proposed new sections, which is new section 11, 12, 13, 14, 16, and actually 18. Yes, and 18. So we must deal with them as new sections now.
New section 11. Also be very careful with section 11.3 and section 11.4.
Honorable Cheptumo, as I call upon you to move your section, new section 11, you must also note that, please, for your noting, that you had moved or dropped on amendment to section 5, which are 5.1.
Subsection 1 and 3 as per the order paper. For a second time as per the order paper, Madam Chair.
The Honorable Cheptumo, if I would guide you, you move.
Is the committee recommends, or the justification is that, Madam Chair, in section 11, we propose that we delete the word
11.3 and 4, which you earlier on dropped. You remember, because of the district, the sub-counters you were trying to, so.
Proposals in regard to 11.3A and 4, because I think B is proper, because we are replacing the definition, the words principal probation officer with director.
That's what he went into record. Honorable Cheptumo, it should be clear to the members, with the guidance of, as I said, 11.1 and 11.3 and 11.4, and you went, so you prosecute 11.1. Honorable Cheptumo? Honorable Cheptumo, yes, before. So because I know Emilio Diembo will guide you on this. And Emilio, you're looking very nice today. I know you want us to.
11.5.
5. We are on 11, but you're 11. 11.1, we are 11.3 and 11.4. Honorable Cheptumo, will I help you?
If you could indulge me.
Today we are talking about late coming, but of course you have said where you're coming from. I can only guide you where you are, because being the chair from where I am, and I know we are all lawmakers, and we are on provisions relating to the Probation of Offenders Act, Cap 6.
Replace principal probation officer with director, whatever it appears. Madam Chair, it's just changing the title, replacing principal probation officer with the director, because those are the positions that are being now applied.
Thank you. With that, members, I put the question with that in members.
New section 12(1).
Members, the mood of the House, I'll put the question, which is that new section 12(1) be now read a second time. Will as many as are of the opinion say aye, and as many as call opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Now
I now move that section 13 be read a second time.
New section 26(1).
I think the tribe is here to stay.
the leader of majority.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, Honorable Jude, what he's trying to do, you know, I have supported him on the interest rates. So he thought every day we will support him. Because we must be proud of our heritage, of our tribes, of our dress, of our language, of our culture. And you must identify a Luo from a Somali, and from a Luo and a Kamba and a Saboti and a Masai. But when it comes, we can build a Kenyan nation. So I oppose, like a TJ Gajuan, oppose.
Member for Mwaya.
Oh, thank you, Chair. It has been clearly said, I oppose. I come from the background of being a teacher of history and government, and the tribe is a very important institution for ourselves. Thank you. So I beg to oppose.
Then, Kanini Kega? The ones who have not spoken, tell me. And before the... Yes, I don't mention, you will get it. Kanini Kega?
Madam Chair, I rise to oppose.
I'm trying to look for the chairperson.
Madam Chair, I rise to oppose. We are all proud of our tribes, because it's through the diversity of our tribes that now we make the entire Kenya. So with those very few remarks, I oppose.
The last one, the member for Court South.
I thank you, Madam
Let's hear
Chair.
the master. Is it a master? But here we don't go by, we go by being members.
I thank you, Madam Chair. You had already forgotten me a little. But Madam Chair, I stand to oppose. Jomo is my good friend, but this one is not a good friend. Because, look, tribes, Madam Speaker, already is in the Constitution in terms of regional balance. And when you are registering people for a reason. Maybe in future for resource sharing. So if you don't know where somebody is coming from, then there's a danger for one community taking the whole country, Madam Speaker. So I oppose that one.
So
it's a dangerous amendment.
Members, with that debate arising on that, allow me put a question to this, which is that with that section 5(1)(c) be amended as proposed by the Honorable Jude Jomo. Will as many as are of this opinion say aye? Honourable members, you must be attentive, as Honourable Kajuang was saying. Honourable members, I'm putting the question to this, which is that section 5(1)(c) be amended as proposed by Honourable Jude Jomo. Will as many as are of this opinion say aye? And as many as have called opinion say nay? Honourable members, the nays have it. Don't know the nays have it.
Section 5(1)(d).
Members, I propose the question, which is that section 5(1)(d) be amended as proposed in the bill. And there's no amendment to this, so I move to the question, which is that section 5(1)(d) be amended as proposed in the bill. Will as many as are of this opinion say aye? And as many as of contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Section 5(1)(g).
As proposed in section 5(1)(g), and substituting therefore the following amendment. And Honorable Chair, the reason the proposed amendment, which was considered by committee, serves to clarify that when the registrar of person is taking and entering details of a person in the register may enter a combination, either sets of information. Honorable Chair, this will ensure the persons who lack one of the more combinations of details and denied registration on, and consequently access to a national identity card and related benefits. Thank you.
Very well, very well. With that import, honorable members, I propose the question, which is that section 5(1)(g) be amended as proposed by the Honorable Paul Koinange. Honorable Leader.
Point of order. Chair, I think the chairman did not explain well. And I really want him to explain. At what stage are you going to register a Kenyan?
Some people live in a trust land, lands owned by communities. There are no plots. In fact, the houses we have even in
Yeah. Thank you, Chair. I am here.
Honorable Member Fasaku.
Thank you, Chair. I'm this side.
Yes, I can. You're that side, I know where you sit.
I rise to oppose this amendment. Take, for example, what is a GPS, a global positioning system, is a 12 or 18 coordinates that is actually gotten through a satellite system. How would even an ordinary Kenyan, how would he know what is the exact position of his plot or his house? So I think to make it easy really, is just to look at what is it that we want in terms of data when a Kenyan requires an ID card.
Okay. Finally, the chairperson, because I can see in your amendments you are talking about of if any.
Yeah. Honorable Chair.
You want to inform who, Honorable? You want to inform who? Let me hear what, Honorable Chair, let me hear what, yeah, because it's a hospital. You want to inform who? Give him the mic.
Madam Speaker.
I want to know whom do you want to inform?
The House.
You want to inform the House?
Yes.
Which
Yes.
House? Who wanted your information?
No, for this purpose.
No, you are out of order. Maybe you would have talked about the chair, and the chair would have either accepted your information. Yeah, the chair would have, and I'm sure would have said yes, and I would have allowed you to inform. Please, finally, the chair, because I can see you want to clarify too before I put the question.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I just want to appeal to the honorable members. You see, Honorable Chair.
The leader of majority, the chair, maybe can be able to put up to put across a point. Yes, Chair.
The issue here is the issue of fear, but as a committee, we are talking about security of the country. Honorable Chair, when we say of even global positioning, even our mobile phone, we can know where you are. So there shouldn't be any fear if you're not hiding, and we need to know where each and every Kenyan is, Madam Chair.
Okay, with that, a debate arising on this session, honorable members, allow me put the question for the House to take a vote on this. And I put the question, which is that section 5(1)(g) be amended as proposed by the mover, that is the Honorable Paul Koinange. Will as many as are of this opinion say aye? And as many as of contrary opinion say nay? Members, the nays of it. Then there's an amendment by, who is? Jude Jomo, you have an amendment? But it has been.
Yes, I'm back.
Madam Speaker, Madam Chair, my amendment is on 5G, where I'm requesting for the telephone numbers and email address of the registered person, if any, to be registered. Madam Speaker, if you go to any registrar of persons office, you will find so many IDs which have been lost, and there is no way that their owners can be traced because they have no contact in their database. If we could have this database, if somebody does not have a telephone number, then it will not be registered. It is not compulsory for that number to be registered. But I would like my telephone number to be the registrar of persons, so that when I lose my ID, like I have done right now, my ID is lost. It can be taken to the registrar of persons, and the registrar of persons can either call me.
With that imports to the amendment, I propose the question, which is at section 5(1)G, be amended as proposed by Honorable Jude Jomo. Yes, let me have the first member. Yes.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I rise to support what Honorable Jude Jomo has said, because by the time somebody is 18 years of age and they're looking for identification card, most of them will have already have a phone, because we know all our children, they have phones. So basically, it is important that we include it is important that we include the telephone number, but it's not mandatory, so that at least those, it's not compulsory. It's as an option.
Thank you. The member for Homa Bay County, Honorable Wanga. Honorable Wanga, let's hear from.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to support the amendment by the Honorable Jude Jomo. Because, Chair, practically, and if you are part of the process of trying to identify those whose IDs are full in registration centers, those numbers can really, really help in tracing these people. So I think this is really, really basic and important, that phone numbers, email addresses, if necessary, are provided. If you don't have, give your mothers. If you don't have, give your husbands or your wives, so that you can be traced with your ID and this information. It is a critical amendment.
Okay, Osoti, the last one, Osoti, because Osoti, you know, leader, where you see, leader, you need to, Osoti. Honorable Osoti, because at least I denied him, I taught him how to the procedure of the House.
Madam Speaker, just as a point of information, that the registrations of persons is just one component of what we call the National Integrated Identity Management System, which is going to be an IT infrastructure where all government databases are going to be connected into one infrastructure. And therefore, it seeks to get as much information as possible that will be integrated on that setup. So it is important to have telephone numbers, because at the moment, we have a challenge managing subscribers' data for Safaricom. So if that is linked onto the registration of persons setup, that is going to help in the project.
Pastoralists who don't have a mobile, the fishermen who have no mobile. No, I don't think so. Explain to
members, let me give to Nganya. Nganya, because he says I can't see him and I'm seeing. And knowing he's one of us, and
Madam Chair,
there's a day he was somewhere. So, Honorable Nganya.
Madam Chair, I think it's important that we appreciate the diversity of our nation and unique circumstances of this country and all the Kenyans. Madam Chair, there are Kenyans who are not lucky enough or privileged enough to have those provisions that are being proposed. In light of that, this pure discrimination of those Kenyans, I oppose.
Okay, you oppose. Kajwang, the legal mind, one minute.
One last
and then
word.
The chair, and then I put the question.
I want to remind all these members who are trying to get us the telephone numbers, general GPS and all those things, that there is a constitutional article which gives us a right of privacy. Right of privacy, it is constitutional. You can't get my telephone number. You can't get my email unless I want.
Thank you.
Something like a county is for everybody. But if you want to get these personal things, I have a right, constitutional right to privacy. So I oppose, but Madam Chair, just so that I sit down, I have just realized that we are even in a worse position where we were from what the chair, Honorable Koinange, was proposing. Because this bill, left the way it is, will still demand for us this GPS, will still ask for us land reference numbers. I think we need to recommit this thing.
Honorable Kajwang, you know the procedures of the House, and the House only takes up. The last one, maybe you want to convince the House before I put the vote, the chairperson, Jude Jomo, the mover.
Madam Chair, the Honorable, Madam Chair, with all due respect to the leader of majority and Honorable Kajwang, they are misleading this House. Because the way this section has been put, it is not compulsory for you to give your email address or to give your telephone number. It is if you want. I would like my telephone number to be with the registrar of persons, so that if I lose my ID, then he can put it.
Okay.
It is very clear.
You're trying to convince the House.
It is very clear that it is if any. If it doesn't have a telephone number, or if you don't want your telephone number to be registered, you don't have to, it doesn't have to be registered.
Members
But please,
have listened to the owner.
As much as he has the right for his privacy, I also would like my number to be there. I have a right also for my number to be known in the register of persons, to ease when my ID gets lost.
Thank you. Having listened now to the chair, the proposer, it is the House now to take. I know we can contribute to this until tomorrow. So members, allow me put the question, which is that Section 5(1)(g) be amended as proposed by Honorable Jude Jomo. Members, will as many as are of this opinion say aye? And as many as have contrary opinion say nay? Members, the nays have it.
Section 9(1).
You know, Honorable Kajwang, you know the process. That you recommend, you know at what stage you do it. Yes, you know where to put it. You know you're a lawyer. We have a new section 9(1). We have, allow me call the mover, who's Honorable Millie.
Thank you.
Honorable Makali. Honorable, I know you are, Honorable Millie, just resume your seat to see. Honorable Makali. And we know we are passed on this. I don't know what yes. Yes.
Actually, that's what I wanted to find out, Madam Chair. You know, we have just discussed the amendments, and they have been rejected. Does that mean then 5(g) is already adopted as part of the bill? Because I thought then you need the question to adopt that bill.
Just say it again.
I'm saying, Madam Chair, we have already discussed the proposed amendments,
yes,
which have now been rejected by the House. Does that mean then we refer to the original clause, it is in the miscellaneous bill, or do you need to put a question? Because then if the question will not be put, then we have already hanged ourselves as Kenyans.
But Honorable Makali, not yet. We are on all the provisions, and I'd already put the question to.
But we are going to 9(1) already.
No, I have to go through the provisions. The provisions relating to the Registration of Persons Act. But it's good for you. It's good for you to be here. Now we are on Section 9(1), and we have the Honorable Millie Odhiambo to move your amendments.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I move that Section 9(1) be deleted as proposed in the order paper. Chair, the reason that I'm proposing this amendment is really for the same reasons that members have been stating. Chair, if you look at what is proposed in this amendment, one, it is seeking to have an integrated identity management system that is very complex, that will be getting information from members of the public. Chair, if you look at this, when we are an advanced society, it's a very good thing. But I'm just wondering, is it actually possible with the disparities that we have in the country right now? And secondly, the other reason why I am very skeptical about this is because, Chair, the kind of things that are being proposed here would actually require a substantive legislation. You can even just see how the issues that are being proposed are really contentious. People are talking about issues of privacy, which are constitutional. People are talking about, issues of whether we are at the same level, the kind of information that is required. Do we have them in some parts of the country? Do we not have them? So, Chair, it is unfortunate that we didn't have or I don't know if it was there, but I was not called for the harmonization committee. But those are some of the things I would have wished to propose. Well. And because of that, I wish to propose that it be deleted.
Other members, I propose a question which is at section 9.1 be deleted as proposed by Honorable Millie Odhiambo. Will as many as these opinions say aye? Oh, yes, I proposed, because I'm putting the question. The members won't act the mood of the House. So I move to put the question, because the members really feel. Members, I move to put the question, which is that section 9.1 be deleted as proposed by Honorable Millie Odhiambo. Will as many as are these opinions say aye? Aye. And as many as have contrary opinions say nay? Nay. The ayes have it. We have an amendment by the Honorable Chair, and also deleting, because it is the same, and Honorable Millie Odhiambo's was carried through deletion. Then the Honorable Paul Koinange is dropped. Next session.
Section 9A.
We have the mover of the amendment to section 9A, Honorable Mohammed Garreni. And members, Garreni is member for Ladera.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Jude Jomo, the leader of majority, has to be defended. And is a Jude Jomo, but I know he's consulting. It's on a light note. He's on a light. He's looking for GPS. It's on a light note. Yes, please let us.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Yes.
Madam Speaker, I wish to move amendment.
And honorable, please, just for guidance, the Honorable Garen, please move 9A, because not 16, 9A only.
Madam Speaker, I wish to move that amendment in the order paper as it appears. In the proposed section 9A2D, by deleting the words centrally print and distribute, and substituting therefore the words support the printing and distribution. The justification for this amendment is that if you look at the bill, it proposes that the printing and distribution of credentials, including birth certificates and death certificates, be centrally printed.
No, he should finish first. Honorable Kajwang, you've sat with me here. Yeah, but I can tell. Let him move, then I propose, and then we can prosecute it. Yes?
Madam Speaker, in the current setup, birth certificates and death certificates are printed at the registration centers. Mm-hmm. We have Huduma centers all over the country.
That you can move ABC. Just move all of them so that members, yes?
I'm still at the justification.
Yes.
What I'm saying is, we are trying to centralize the printing and distribution of these credentials, including birth certificates, death certificates, student identity cards. Currently, we have the passport and the IDs printed here in Nairobi. Imagine now people in remote villages coming to get their birth certificates and death certificates here in Nairobi or a central place. That's detrimental. Thank you.
Allow now, honorable member, you have not moved B and C. Just move B and C so that we can pay them together.
I therefore move the amendment.
Okay, members, I propose a question which is that section 9A be amended as proposed by the Honorable Mohammed Geren. Then now I welcome, you can use your point of order as a debate. Let it be your contribution. Kajwang, what is your contribution to this?
Madam Chair, on a point of order, I don't know where we are because if I follow Honorable Millie Odhiambo's amendment, may I have the attention of the clerk at table? If I
we are
follow,
on page 271, Honorable Kajwang.
yes, I'm there.
Yes.
If I follow the amendment of Honorable Millie Odhiambo, she was deleting everything you find there in 9A. That was the gist of her deletion. So when we carried it, that meant that there is nothing called 9A and so on.
Honorable Kajwang.
Sorry, Chair, just help me.
Yes,
I may be mistaken.
Yeah, you are mistaken. I may, please allow me. And of course, it's my duty to just let you know where we are. And I think you have done so well. You must be tired. But you're very keen. We are on Millie Deed 9.1. And she was saying, because in the bill is deleted, that is a deletion in the bill should not be deleted. That was Millie's. Now we are on section 9A, which is new now.
I think this is where the problem is. If you look at the bill, page 271,
yes,
section 9.1 was proposing to delete, right? And after that, insert the following new section immediately after section 9.
But it has nothing to do with 9. Does it have really?
9.1.
No, it doesn't have to do with that.
This new one.
Thank you, Chair. And I hope the majority leader can listen to me carefully. That's why I was talking I wish.
Yes, members, let us not go back to what we have done. We have dealt with Millie's and it was carried. Yes.
Yes, Chair, but
yes,
we need to be clear about what we have done.
Yes, you want to confirm
from a legislative perspective,
yes,
Chair.
Yes.
Chair, if you read section 9.1, it says, delete, insert the following new section immediately after section 9. Insert. So if it is deleted, there is nothing to be inserted. So what I would suggest, that if, because what I was saying before, Honorable Dwale, if you could please have, could please have your ears.
Yeah, yes, we are good.
Majority Leader.
Leader of Majority Millie is addressing you and your consorting also, which is also.
Majority Leader. Because I was actually saying this is why it is unfortunate that we are not having the harmonization committee. Because some of these things, Chair, if you are able to discuss and sit with each other, then we could have dealt with them earlier. Now, what is happening legally, if you actually read what we have done, section 9.1 says, delete. Insert the following new section immediately after section 9. So my amendment is to delete that.
9.
Now, assume it is not there. Then the section 9A comes as a consequence, but it is being introduced by what I deleted, Chair. So what I would suggest, Chair, that if Honorable Dwale is convinced that this is very important for purposes of registration, recommit. Yeah, but otherwise the truth is we have actually deleted it. Yeah, we've deleted it.
But I say the procedures, if you consider recommit of those, Honorable Kajwang, you know it. And again, this new section 9A, it's a new one, even in the original book.
But read the preceding words, Chair. Look at the
before Honorable Makali, what is your point?
This is where you need to listen to lawyers.
You know, Madam Chair, what we are saying is that once Millie's amendment is carried, then the amendment by Honorable Mohamed Ire, is null and void. It can't be presented. So, Madam Chair, I think what we need to do, because, Madam Chair, what we have done, it means automatically then this amendment by Honorable Mohamed Ire dies if Millie's is carried. But I think, Madam Chair, as the leader majority is saying, an integrated population management system is very important. And there's no way you can do without it in a card. It's the modern way of doing registration,
Yes.
really.
I am having the laws of Kenya. All the members. And this is
So
the
we need
laws
to
of
commit
Kenya.
this thing.
Then what Honorable Millie Odhiambo did, Kajwang, she has refused the deletion of section 9.1, which has 9.1. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, up to 7. Then from there, Honorable Millie, now we are inserting a new one before now 10, if you can visit the book. So now we did away with Honorable Millie Odhiambo. Honorable Kajwang, you have the books here. If you want, you can.
With a lot of respect, Mr. Chair,
Yes.
There is a problem. Now, let's just go with this thing.
But and if you have in.
We are going to do a problem. We are getting into a problem. And let the legal officers not misdirect us. It is here on page 1469. Chair, just come with me.
Together.
On page 1469 of the order paper.
Yes.
On page 1469, Millie is saying the schedule be amended by deleting the proposed amendment. That is what Millie is saying. Delete the proposed amendment. What was the proposed amendment? The proposed amendment was here in page 271. It was proposing a deletion. So this is a deletion, an amendment proposing the deletion of what was proposed. And what was proposed was that delete and insert. That is what it is. It is delete. Insert the following.
Have you seen the full stop,
So that is
not
where we
and? Have you seen the full stop, not and?
I see the full stop, but it is in one sentence. I see it
So-
as part
so
of-
you want to
I
recommit-
think that the best thing that we need to do here,
You to recommit-
I agree with the leader of majority.
Yes, yes.
But as a matter of procedure, what we need to do here is to recommit this, what we did, and then clean it up. Otherwise, we will be out of procedure.
We did away with Honorable Millie Odhiambo's, and it was carried. And actually, the House made a vote. And you know very well we don't go back to 9. This is a new session. Honorable Millie.
Chair.
As a consort.
Chair.
Yes,
what-
Millie.
The import of what my deletion did is that if it is deleted, we go back to what is in the primary act. So that means we will have two conflicting sections. What is in the primary act? What is in the primary act?
Leader Major, yes, let me finish. And then
Can
give it
I
to you.
just explain?
Yes, explain.
And Chair, if you read it, because we are talking about legal construction, Chair. Legal construction and interpretation. This is not even about persuading each other on content. And Chair, it talks, insert the following new section immediately after section 9. So I said delete. If that is deleted, then all we have is the new section without a deletion of the parent one. So the section in the parent, what I've deleted is the proposed ones in the proposed amendment, but not what is in the parent act. So the parent act remains intact, and the new one remains intact, so they will have two conflicting sections.
No, there will not be conflict. The Honorable Millie, but thank, at least you've given, that's exactly what you are saying. So what Millie did will still remain intact. Honorable Leader, Majority, it's good to have members.
Just to tell Honorable Millie,
yes,
we got you right.
Yes.
That what is in the parent act is not in total conflict with the new section 9A. Yeah, we have no problem.
Yes, it is not in conflict,
Yes.
Honorable Millie.
They are not in conflict.
Yes. And that's why I was able to
So,
raise
and then Honorable Hire,
the parent act.
member for Lagdera, what he's trying to do, he is trying to amend part of new 9A, which is quite in order. Yes, you need. Yes, he's right. She's right.
Give me, yes. Honorable Sako.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
And it's new already. It's new in the original bill.
Chair, if I get Honorable Millie Odhiambo correctly, I think we are being misled in this House, because if you are going to delete section 9.1 and you are going to introduce section 9A, integrated information system, actually Millie is saying delete 9A, which is the new system, the new amendment. So for that reason, I think the House should not be misled on what is the import of what is happening in this act. Yes, that is what she says should be deleted.
Yeah, it's a new one. They are not in conflict. Yes, yes. So thank you for the great minds. Yes, we have agreed it's not in conflict, and we also have procedures in that, you know. So we remember. So I put the question.
That's section 9.
Okay. Then, honourable members, allow me put the question for the House to take a vote. Honourable members, please allow me read the question for the House to take a vote. I put the question, which is that section 9A, Honourable Leader, but that's not how it goes. I put the question with that section 9A be amended as proposed by the mover, which is the member for, yes. Will as many as are of this opinion say aye? And as many as of contrary opinion say nay? The amendment to 9A. It's new.
Let's go to the next. It's not
Next.
section 9A still is amended by the chair of security.
Sorry.
You can call member for. We have member for.
For where? Let's get the member for Koinange, Honorable Koinange, on the same one.
9A.
Maybe to give a clarity to this. Member Koinange?
Yeah. Thank you, Honorable Chair. I propose an amendment by inserting the following new paragraph in the proposed section 9A immediately after paragraph 2, and that is 3. The principal secretary shall be responsible for the administration, coordination, and management of the system.
Honorable, yes, Koinange, just clarify your import so that.
Meaning, the original act remains the way it is. Now, the new amendment 9A is a new amendment which has been read a second time. It does not affect the original act. It's a new amendment. So after it has been done the second reading, the Honorable Paul Koinange has done a further amendment where he is making the principal secretary to be responsible for the administration, coordination, and management of the system. Me, I have an issue with that because essentially there is supposed to be a CEO of registrations of persons and dates and all that. Now, when you make the principal secretary to be responsible, it means you are taking away the duties of the CEO in charge of that. And what it means now is that the principal secretary must only be able to do this duty, leaving other duties, the way I'm getting it. Maybe you can, the Honorable Koinange needs to convince us further about that.
Then, members, can we hear the Honorable, now the mover of them?
Yeah.
Honorable Millie Adambo is agreeing except for Honorable Koinange, Paul.
Yeah, the principal.
And honorable members, allow me remind you this is a house of debates. you debate from either side. It's not a house that we all agree on one, but we take a vote, and we also have procedures in this house. In the event that even a vote has been taken and you are not, you recommit it in this committee of the whole house. And yes, the chairman.
Yeah.
No, you are not a chairman. But just give.
Yeah, Honorable Chair.
Yes.
Madam Chair,
The registration.
from the outset, I want to make it clear that it has not been read a second time. That we need to put into consideration. Secondly, 9A becoming a new import, and it has germane issues that have been raised in it that have very severe ramifications on registration, on censure.
Let's go to the chair. Let's not go back because we had already gone to the chair. But we've had Honorable Chair.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Chair.
Honorable Leader of Majority, all the members are free to debate. I say this is a house of debate. Let him raise, and we will still take a vote, and there are procedures.
Honorable Chair, I don't mind the proposed amendment, but Honorable Chair, the registration of person falls under the PS for Interior, and that is in the executive order, and he's the accounting officer, Honorable Chair.
This, members, bear with the question. In your original bill, look at it. There's 9A is written new. It's not new. The new is already in the, and which you did it already in the second reading. So I put the question, members.
That's section 9.
Which is that section 9A be further amended as proposed by Honorable Paul Koinange. Is it a yes, Dole.
What happened to the amendment of the member for Lagdera? And Chair, I think, let us be very, very honest in debating. This new section A is important for the registration, even for the census. Yeah, this bill has been here for the last 6 months. So what have we done to the amendment by the member for Lagdera? Have we disposed it off?
Yes,
then
it was
we come
agreed.
to the one of chairman.
Yes, it was agreed.
Oh, we have agreed, we are passing?
Yes, it was agreed. Yes. Okay, yes. I now put the question, yes. Honourable members, I now, please give me, I put the question, which is that section 9A be further amended as proposed by Honourable Paul Koinange. Will as many as are of this opinion say aye? And as many as of contrary opinion say nay? Nay. Members, the nays of it.
We have two new sections.
Yes.
Yes. New section 16.
Yes, we have in session 2 new sessions, 16, but 2 members. By one member. Yes, the member for Label, you now read it a second time. Move it to be read a second time. Now this is a new session, members, which is now read a second time.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I need to seek your guidance on this. If you look at the order paper, there were a couple of amendments I was proposing in section 9A. Have we all disposed it?
You spoke to all of them.
From A to C.
Yes, you did. You spoke to.
Thank you.
To the 3 of the ABC. So we are on the new section, which are now, and when you are moving, yes, which you move now to be read a second time because it's new.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I wish to move that section 9A2D be read a second time.
16.
Section 16. Madam Speaker, the justification...
Honorable member, maybe for guidance, this is a new session. So you are going to read it, to move it as being read a second time.
Time I was told, Mr. Chair, I was told that we will run through all the provisions affecting registration of persons, then we will make it part of a bill. But now here we are, we have just done 16, and we are making 16 part of the bill. So why is it that in some instances, we are not making it part of the bill, when in some others we are doing so? Because, Mr. Chair, I had a valid reasons for asking that. Because that would inform the way we would vote when it is made part of a bill in respect of Section 5. The way it is so convoluted that I think that the best way would be to recommit provisions dealing with the registration of persons, recommit the whole thing, and look at the Hansard and see what we have done and what we have not done. And the clerks can help us by reading out what the Hansard has said, what we have taken a vote on, and what we have not taken a vote on. Because, for example, the leader of majority is very right in my view. This is my personal view. That to be able to do census, for example, a clause like 9A is very important. But now, we do not know, as a member for Homer Bay is saying, whether we voted it or whether we didn't vote it. So I think that we need a whole assistance in the provisions dealing with registration of persons.
The Honorable Kajwang, I get what you're saying. And I think members, let us, it is important for us to work together, all of us. From where I sit, my take is this. We have these proposals to this Registration of Persons Act. Those that have proposed amendments have not yet been made part of the bill yet. But those that do not have amendments have been passed by the House. So all those that have proposed amendments to them, we have not yet made them part of the bill. I am informed and I am aware that we shall make them part of the bill, all of them together as one. And if I was to speak to the contentious Section 9 and 9A, members, I think to clear this up, I think what the Honorable Millie, the Honorable Odhiambo had done was basically to delete the proposed deletion by the mover. So that if you then delete by the mover, then you go back to the original, the parent act. So the parent act as it is what is subsisting. So we went back to that. But there was a proposed new 9A by the mover, which has no relation with 1, and which the House had debated in a second reading. So that the House had dealt with it in second reading. So though it was not necessary again to have a second reading of it here. So now what we are dealing with it now was the third reading of it. And that is why the proposed amendments by the Honorable Garane were dealt with in the way that they've been dealt with, and also the proposed amendments by the chair were also dealt with, and as the House dealt with them. So I think we've made good progress. So I will give point of order to Majority Leader, then the Honorable Millie, so that we can move together.
I think from where Honorable T.J. Kajwang left, it is now our business, myself and the members here, that because this bill will continue with it, we will get the answer of what happened in as far as the registration section is concerned, and then if we feel we need to bring a recommittal, we will bring it at the end tail of this process. Yes. And I commit myself to that, because the registration section is very, very important for the census and to government.
Very well. The Honorable Millie, your point of order.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I just needed the clarity, because it's not just this miscellaneous bill. that we'll be dealing with on the floor of the House. I think we needed, at least for myself, I need clarity on an issue of procedure. At what point is a clause considered new that requires to be read a second time? And at one point is one new, and one new? Because, Chair, I've had the new terminology of new, and new. And I've actually looked at it and I've seen the one that is new is in small letters. And the new is in capital letters. So, Chair, because I'm a very diligent person, and I have been in this House now, this is my third term. And, but I'm still open to learning, and because we'll be sitting here. Can I be trained on that aspect of when a clause is new and when one is new? Thank you.
The Honorable Millie, I think I had just spoken to that, but I think I will, because you are a very diligent member of this House, I will repeat what I had said. You did. Very well. Then members, honorable members, let us have order. Order, members. Let us make progress now. We are not making progress. The Honorable Nyikal, we must make progress. Let us make progress. The Honorable Nyikal, there are no points to be made. There is nothing that is before us. There are no points to be made. Let us make progress.
New section 2.
So I propose. It's on page 1468.
Page 1468 on Registration of Persons Act. That is?
New section 2.
New section 2. 1468. Page 1468 of your order paper.
So then, call him to move second reading.
So now this one, the Honorable Koinange, you move for second reading. (1468). Roman 1, yes. There's a new section 2 there. Where it says insert the following new definition in its proper alphabetical sequence.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I move that the schedule to the bill be amended in the proposed amendment to the Registration of Persons Act Cap 107 as per the order paper, inserting the following new amendments in their proper numerical sequence. Insert the following new definition in its proper alphabetical sequence. Principal Secretary means the Principal Secretary in the ministry responsible for matters relating to registration of persons. I move.
Section 2 be now read a second time. Is that the mood of the House? I now put the question that new section 2 be now read a second time. Will as members of that opinion say aye? Will as members of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I propose the question that new section 2 be part of the bill. I put the question that new section 2 be part of the bill. Will as members of that opinion say aye? Will as members of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Honorable members, now, the Honorable TJ, you might pay attention to this. I now put the final question, which is that the provisions relating to the Registration of Persons Act, Cap 107, as amended, be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? Members, had my communication earlier when I came to sit here, I posited that we shall have all the amendments that have been proposed to this legislation at the tail end. This is now the tail end. So the way you now vote is going to determine whether those amendments will be carried or not. So members, prepare yourselves. Allow me then to have this retake. I now put the question that the provisions relating to the Registration of Persons Act, Cap 107, as amended, be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many of a contrary opinion say nay? Nay. The nays have it.
So move to the next. Provisions related to Public Holidays Act, Cap 110. So we are here.
Honorable members, I propose the question that provisions relating to the Public Holidays Act, Cap 110, be amended as proposed in the bill.
Now we don't have an amendment. So schedule. It's only a schedule, so there's no amendment.
Honorable members, I propose that the question that the schedule be amended as proposed in the bill. I put the question that the schedule be amended as proposed in the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that the provisions relating to the Public Holidays Act, Cap 110, be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Provisions related to the Housing Act, Cap 117.
I propose the question that provisions relating to the Housing
Act. Housing Act.
The Housing Act,
Cap 117.
Cap 117, be amended as proposed in the bill.
Section 3.2. So let's call the mover, to move.
The Honorable Kosing.
I thank you, Chair, and I wish. Yes, Chair, I beg to move that. I beg to move the amendments of the bill as it is in the order paper. And what I'm doing, Chair, in 3.1 is to reduce the number of the board members. This is about board members, Honorable Chair. And the original bill was proposing that the minister appoints 7. But however, if you look at that, Chair, if we were to go with that, then it means that eventually the board members will be more than 9. And therefore, we are saying the minister shall appoint a maximum of 6, because already what is been provided are 3. So when you take 3, which are compulsory, and then now the 6 by the minister, it will be 9. And that is within, it will be within the requirements of the Constitution, Honorable Chair. And therefore, we are limiting the ones for the Cabinet Secretary to 6, because 3 are compulsory members of the board.
Very well. I propose the question that Section 3 be amended as proposed by the mover. The Honorable Oundo.
Chair, as I agree to the amendment, but I find Section 2A a bit curious, unless we have not yet to 2A.
The Honorable Oundo, we are
still on
3.2. Are you speaking to 3.2A or which one?
I need guidance, Chair. Yes, 1470.
Yes.
In respect to the Housing Act,
yes,
whereby they are making further amendments, and I'm relating to amendment stated as B by inciting the new item immediately after the proposed new Section 2.
Proceed.
Unless we are not yet there.
We are together.
Yeah. So, Chair, I find it curious, why would we talk about marginalized groups Yet it's expected that whenever an appointment is made as under the Constitution and the general law, that an attempt will be made to balance. Quite specifically, who are this marginalized group that the chair of the committee is talking about? I need his guidance or clarification. That's already in law. It's already in law. You do not need to state it again.
The Honorable Undo, you have made your point. The Honorable Okello.
Mtambo iko Sida. Mr. Speaker, it is already in law. It is in the Constitution that when dishing out public jobs, you have to consider the marginalized communities. You have to consider women, you have to consider youth, you have to consider those living with disabilities. So that is already in law. So it becomes very curious for this to be sneaked into this omnibus amendment. So something has to be considered here properly, Mr. Chairman.
You know the rules of debate. There is no point in repeating what the Honorable Undo has said if you are supporting it.
Well, he did talk.
Oh, very well. You are talking about the Constitution. All right. Very well. Leader of majority.
Chair, it's very sad at this hour that somebody is asking who are marginalized. A good example of a marginalized, he was here. Where is he? Yeah, the member, Honorable Songkok. I want to give him physical evidence of marginalized. The great ladies who are sitting here, they represent women, are marginalized. Is there anybody? Yeah, he's there. That is a very good marginalized example. So I think the chair is right because we don't want cabinet secretaries to take it for granted. Yeah, to take it for granted. They must be told in an act of parliament that you cannot appoint people and leave people who are marginalized. That's why Jubilee decided to bring this member of parliament so that he can fight for the marginalized. And my friend, you're a living example of a marginalized. And even Subas in Ruaraka are marginalized.
Very well. Honorable members, allow me then to put the question that section 3(2) be amended as proposed by the mover. Will as members of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as members of a contrary opinion say nay? Nay. The ayes have it.
Put the final question.
I now put the final question, which is that the provisions relating to the Housing Act, Cap 117, as amended, be part of the bill. Will as members of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as members of a contrary opinion say nay? Nay. The ayes have it.
Provisions relating to the Law of Succession Act, Cap 160.
I propose the question that the provisions relating to the succession law, the Law of Succession Act, Cap 160, be amended as proposed in the bill.
Section 49A.
There's an amendment by the chair.
The chair is... The chair, the Honorable Cheptumo.
Thank you, Madam Mr. Chair.
Yes, the Honorable Millie, you also have an amendment.
Yes.
We'll give you an opportunity.
I propose that the bill be amended in section 40. By deleting that section, Madam Mr. Chair. Mr. Chairman, the rationale is that this amendment proposes to empower the courts to restrict those people who appears when matters on succession matters are being dealt with. The practice of handling hearings in camera exists and ought to whether to allow or not to allow presence of parties in that particular situation.
Honorable members, allow me to propose the question that section 49A be amended as proposed by the mover. Leader of majority.
Chair, you know we have lawyers here, Honorable Cheptumo representing them. It's good that this amendment is deleted. That's what the chair is proposing. But I want to read to the rest of us who are lawmakers. This amendment in the bill says the following. It gives the court that are handling succession disputes the discretion to exclude persons who are not members of the court or parties to the case from any proceeding. If you are not the court that is handling the matter, and you are not a member of the people who are appearing before that matter, what's wrong? Why should you go there? It's giving privacy, and it's giving the people who have gone to court on succession their rights. But what the chair is saying is, he wants every Tom, Dick, and Harry to join the case, to ask for objections, to be enjoined. I think the input of what the amendment is in the bill is very, very important. I really want to ask the chair, please, you know, this is what you are doing is good for lawyers. Yes, but here this amendment is saying the judge and the court and the people who are appearing in that succession dispute must be given their space. That's what it's saying. And you are saying we delete it. So I really oppose the chair.
Very well. The Honorable Millie, the member for Suba, before the Honorable TJ.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I had a similar amendment.
Yes.
And I will explain the import of the reason why, or why I seek a deletion. It is actually not correct that when you have in camera is because there are people who are demonstrating, who are coming to look at the succession. But usually that is done, especially in sensitive cases, like cases of rape. But otherwise, all proceedings in court are public, except the ones, say, for rape. Very few cases are private. Chair, when you look at issues of succession, you will find that succession is where somebody has died and there is property. Chair, you will find that there are children who do not know. Sometimes you have families where there are 3, 4 wives. The first wife has gone to court. The second family doesn't know. The third family doesn't know. When it is in the public, everybody knows. Everybody can come and everybody can claim. But when you say that, that we want to have succession in camera, really, Chair, I do not understand. So in fact, I didn't talk to the chair of the legal committee, but for those of us who are practitioners, it actually is mind-boggling why you'd want to have succession in camera. Because then it means we will be saying that every matter that is in court should be heard in camera. It goes against the rule of law and human rights. Chair,
honorable members, just relax. Allow the Honorable Odhiambo to prosecute, because she also had proposed the same amendment as the chair. The Honorable Leader of Majority, then we shall have the Honorable TJ Kajwang.
Chair, at the end of the day, this amendment will be put to question. But we should not misinform the House. This amendment, which is in the bill, which the chair is deleting, simply provides that the court handling succession dispute the discretion to exclude persons who are not members of the court. 2, who are not parties to the case from the proceeding related to the administration, to the administration of a deceased person estate. So there's no camera. Number 2, it also, Chair, you know, you need to protect me.
You are protected.
Yes.
Proceed.
Yeah, I listen to her. She must have the courtesy to listen. And rape is not private.
The honorable majority leader, just speak to the chair.
Rape is private. There's no.
The Honorable Millie, the Honorable Odhiambo, you will allow the leader of majority to make his contribution.
Yes, I must be heard. You know, when she was talking, she said, rape is the one which is private. There's no rape which is private. It's done in public. And we shall castrate those men who rape women. This law which is in the bill, and I want members to listen to me, it also gives the court the discretion to prohibit publication of any matter arising. You know, Chair, why this piece of legislation came is succession disputes, they go for years and years, over 20 years. It will never end. Because every day there are new entrants, there are new players. It's been done in open court. But we are being told, Honorable Millie has a law firm, and Honorable TJ and all these people. This is part of your business. If it was about medical, Honorable Bokose could have declared his interest. We are saying in this bill, and the House will vote, that to make succession disputes progress in a timely way, the enjoyment of, funny characters, people coming in, people asking for adjournment must stop. So the court that is handling and the parties before it must be given exclusive right in that case. That's exactly what I'm saying in this bill.
Honorable very well, Leader of Majority, let us hear a fresh voice on this. Let us hear a voice that has not spoken in this House. The Honorable Shinali, the member for Ikolomani.
I have not spoken. Yes. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The issues of Honorable Speaker protect me from Honorable Millie Odhiambo. Mr. Chair.
The Honorable Odhiambo, I think it is only fair to allow the Honorable Shinali to even say what he wants to say before you. The Honorable Shinali, kindly proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I want to say that, Mr. Chair, the issues of land succession, the way they are rampant in this country, they are very sensitive. And you find in most cases, vulnerable families involved in land succession matters. And it's only important that and fair that we allow members, family members, and other interested parties to participate and to enjoin themselves in the succession course. Mr. Speaker, as even we allow the court that is the courts that are handling to have exclusive rights to admit those people that they feel, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chair, I feel it is important to allow all parties that are interested to be enjoined and participate in the proceedings. Thank you.
Honorable members, I think we are all speaking to the same thing, and we'll give this to the House. I now put the question that Section 49A be amended as proposed by the mover. Will as members of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as members of a contrary opinion say nay? Nay. Honorable members, the nays have it.
Let's go to the next. We have an amendment by a member for Suba North.
We have an amendment. You will have a retake on it. Don't worry. We have another amendment to it by the member for Suba North. The honorable member for Suba North, the Honorable Odhiambo. You have a similar amendment. We must deal with it.
Chair, I think really the only concern I would have in terms of my amendment is that I keep hearing the men saying they want to be protected from me. Chair, am I that scary? I thought I was beautiful. It should be the other way around, Chair. They shouldn't be
for Mr. Speaker in NTC Act, and that is as clear as that. Number 2, in B, we are proposing, yes, I'm going one by one. I've dealt with number 1. In B, Mr. Speaker, you were saying in the proposed amendment to Section 3.
The Honorable Chair, we cannot do it in an omnibus way.
Okay.
We just relax. We will guide you in a moment.
Section 2. So Section 2, let's start with Section. He has an amendment for.
Yes. Chair, now you can speak to section 2.
I've done, Chair, if you might have seen what I did, I've done an explanation of my amendment in 2A, Chair, which of course when you see, let me just read so that it is understood by honorable members, that the proposed amendment to the Traffic Act, Cap 407, by inserting the following new item immediately after the proposed amendment, section 2. Delete the definition of the term driving test examiner. Speaker, what we have done there is we have just brought in NTSA. Because when you say examiner without giving a name, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairman, it brings confusion in the Parent Act. And at the moment, practically, it is NTSA that gives examination of drivers. So I was making it very clear, Chair.
I propose a question that section 2 be amended as proposed by the mover. I now put the question that section 2 be amended as proposed by the mover. Will as members of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as members of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Section 3.
Chair, mover.
Chair, I beg to move that in the proposed amendment to section 3, by deleting the words offices appearing in the proposed new section 4 and substituting therefore with the word officer. This is a typographical error, Chair. I've just cleared it.
The question that section 3 be amended as proposed by the mover. I now put the question that section 3 be amended as proposed by the mover. Will as members of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as members of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Section 8.
Chair, I thank you, and I beg to move the amendment to section 8 as it is in the order paper. And what's happening, Chair, here, the committee is of the opinion that we delete section 8, and section 8 was dealing about the insurance. And honorable Chair, it is true that if you can only allow the owner of the car to get insurance, it is very tricky in this country, Chair. And we have to be practical, even to ourselves and to the people of Kenya. It might take some time to transfer of that car to your name. But because you are driving the car, you should be the one taking the insurance because you are actually driving the car.
I see interest from the Honorable Raso Ali, member for Saku.
Thank you very much, Chair. I support the proposal by the Chair there. I think as honorable members have already alluded to, the fact that you buy a vehicle, it doesn't transfer to your name immediately or the following day. So for that reason, I think curtailing people to buy the insurance, because you cannot drive the vehicle on the road if you don't have a valid insurance. So for that reason, I think it is valid, and we should not allow this to slip through our hands. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable members, allow me to put the question that section 8 be deleted as proposed by the mover. Will as members of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as members of a contrary opinion say nay? No. The ayes have it.
Now, I'll read 39, 45, and 56 because they have no amendments. Sections 39, subsection 1, 45, subsection 1, and section 56, subsection 1. They have no amendments.
I propose the question that sections 39(1), section 45(1), section 56(1) be amended as proposed in the bill. I put the question that sections 39(1), 45(1), 56(1) be amended as proposed in the bill. Will as members of that opinion say aye? Will as members of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Section 57.
I propose the question that Section 57 be amended as proposed in the bill. Chair, mover.
I beg to move, Chair, my amendments as it is on the order paper. And what we are doing, the Speaker, is to delete Section 57. And our input go to 57.
Members, we are dealing with page 1472
of the order paper. So yeah, our reasons are like this, that the amendment seeks to ensure that the National Transport and Safety Authority, that is NTSA chair, officials do not patrol roads and have power to detain a vehicle carrying any of the loads required a permit as prescribed under the Act or East African Community Load Control Act, Chair. So what's happening? We are marrying the Traffic Act with the East African Community Load Control Act, Mr. Chair.
I propose the question that Section 57 be amended as proposed by the mover. I put the question that Section 57 be amended as proposed by the mover. Will as members of that opinion say aye? Will as members of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Section 58.
Mover? The Honorable question? 58. The Honorable question. Section 58. You have a proposed amendment to that.
Oh. Section?
58.
No, I have 70. Sorry, Chair. Yeah, 58. That in the proposed amendment, that I beg to move that Chair, that we amend in the proposed amendment to Section 58 by inserting the words "or in accordance with the East African Commercial Vehicle Load Control Act 2013, before the words "shall be guilty" appearing in subsection 1. We have one traffic act or one traffic punishment relating to traffic issues, Chair. So I'm harmonizing.
I propose the question that Section 58 be amended as proposed by the mover. Honorable members, allow me to put the question that Section 58 be amended as proposed by the mover. Will as members of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as members of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. What is out of order, the Honorable Odiemba? Millie.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I have several proposed amendments, and I had hoped that we would finish today, but apparently we will not. And even now, unfortunately, I'm forced to leave because I'm going on parliamentary duties out of the country tonight. So, Chair, I know that I'm supposed to do this formally, which I'll do. But for purposes of now, Chair, I've requested Honorable T.J. Kajwang and Honorable Nyekao to propose my amendments, Chair. So I'll do that. I'm doing that formally, but also just to let you know so that you don't wonder why they are moving my amendments, Chair. I'm doing that both formally and out of courtesy.
Very well.
I'm doing
Very well. The Honorable Millie, it is quite in order. It is well. I know you will also write formally. I think you know the process, but it is good to inform us also, so that and we wish you well in your sojourn out there on our behalf. The Honorable Kisang, what is out of order before the Leader of Majority?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I wanted to bring to your attention before Honorable Millie leaves, we had discussed and conversed that she drops the amendments she brought on KICA and the copyright bill. We discussed with her.
The Honorable Kisang, let me consult a little bit on what you are proposing. The Leader of Majority?
Chair, of course, Honorable Millie has to speak to what she has discussed to be on the Hansard. But, Chair, for anybody to take the amendment of a colleague, the procedure is very clear. Where you write to the Speaker is approved, and then she brings it here. Even as we sit here, we have only 20 minutes. You still remain. You cannot mortgage Honorable Nyikal and Honorable TJ. You know, you have no title over them. The only title you have is you go and get a letter approved by the Speaker. No, she can't even pay.
Speaking to the same thing. The Honorable Millie is aware of what she needs to do, but we wish her well in her journeys out there.
Section 70, subsection 5B.
I propose the question that... Oh yeah, I see an amendment before I propose. The mover, the Honorable Kosin, section 70. B.
I beg, Chair, to move this amendment as it is on the order paper by deleting proposed amendment to section 70B. And this is my input, Chair, that the amendment seeks to ensure that the penal provisions with respect to violation of traffic signs, prescribed speed limits on the road by more than 20 kilometers per hour are retained as provided in the original act. This one, the committee found it more punitive, Chair, and therefore proposed that we retain what was in the original law.
I propose the question that section 70, subsection 5B be amended as proposed by the mover. I put the question that section 70, subsection 5B be amended as proposed by the mover. Will as members of that opinion say aye? Will as members of our court of opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Section 85.
Mover, the Honorable Kosin.
I beg to move that amendment, Chair, as it is in the order paper, and we are proposing to delete, by deleting the proposed amendment, section 85.
Provisions relating to the Kenya Post Office Savings Bank Act, Cap 493.
I propose the question that provisions relating to the Kenya Post Office Savings Bank Act, Cap 493, be amended as proposed in the bill.
Section 14.
In the parent act is undertaken by the cabinet secretary, and now that it is being moved to the registrar, then we are saying that the registrar should not do it alone, but should also consult the cabinet secretary responsible for matters of finance.
Arbitrator. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable members, allow me then to